Is it possible that I could just eat fruits like for the rest of my life?
Yeah, don't overconsume, as in don't eat fruit until you're stuffed and you feel sick, but you can eat fruits for every meal. So Dr. Aris, who I was just speaking to, he's for 45 years, he's basically just eaten that, and he's only drank coconut water for 44 years. He hasn't drank regular water.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Well,
Well,
72 now.
thank you. I mean, that's really all I have time for. But this is so crazy. Oh, this is the second time you picked me in the week.
Respect. Keep up the good fight, and stay healthy.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace. And every now and again, a hero is going to come in the live, and there is Aris. As I said, my profile is public now. Send this live to your friends right now so they know that we're live. And also screenshot a picture of me and Aris and post it and tag us, and I'll repost you. We got more time on the clock now.
Okay.
So don't retox, you were saying, and you were speaking about toxemia. What are the best ways for you to detox so that they could get to a place where they're not going to then retox? So they know now that they can't retox and they need to cut out all of the starches and cut out as much cooked food as possible. We know that people aren't going to do it like that, because when I did it, I did a juice fast when I was in Panama, but then I went back to eating some cooked food, and right now my diet is 70-80% raw food. But what would you say to people is the best way to detox and then transition into a sun-fired nutritional plan?
Yeah, well, there's no one system that suits us all. So we need to start with where we are, first of all, and the most important thing is what you don't put in. So we got that. Don't retox. That's more important. Or if you're going to put things in that that are going to challenge the system, keep them to a bare minimum. And you increase the amount of fresh fruits, especially, and definitely the vegetables, but particularly the fresh fruits. But again, it's an individual journey, because you have to look at your reality. You have to look at how your body's going to react by all of a sudden start eating a lot of fruit. Some of you would say, oh, the fruits don't agree with me. They break me out. They make me feel sick. I get a migraine headache. I feel nauseous, dizzy. Sometimes I even want to faint. It's the healing crisis that's going on. So, when the ancient ones say, thy food shall be thy medicine and thy medicine shall be thy fruit, shall be thy food, you have to understand that if you're very toxic and you have a lot of waste in you and you start taking too much fruits, the medicine is too powerful. You have to really cut the doses back. So don't eat as much. That's why it's really have to be on an individual basis as much as possible. So basically what it means is that you have to take ownership. You have to take responsibility. There's no one set formula that me or anyone else can prepare that's going to suit every single one of us. But getting the understanding of the science of the foods that electrify the body, the high moisture foods, these electrical foods facilitate cleansing automatically. So you want to cut back. If you're moving too fast, cut back on the high moisture fruits and eat the ones that are a little more denser, especially say fatty fruits like avocados and ackee and other things of that nature. And so you have to keep up a certain level of building and growth and strengthening the body, so it doesn't all of a sudden try to release so much waste, because your elimination channels need to be ready for the load that's coming out. And if it's not ready, it gets backed up, it comes back upstream, and the waste ends up in the bloodstream. The blood, as it circulates in the brain, it short circuits the oxygen on the brain. and you feel dizzy, you feel nauseous, and all of these things, because the blood moves slower on the brain than it moves anywhere else in the body, especially because you're living upright. That's why you go lie down right away. You feel dizzy, you got a headache or something, because you want to get the blood, fresh blood, to come up to the brain. So you need to go slow and go at your pace, you know. So for some of us, a detox may just mean I'm not eating any more red meat. You know, so you want to start removing the most objectionable things in your eating system, in your eating platform, you know, and automatically as you do that, the body naturally would start rejecting the most objectionable thing in the system, you know, in tandem, you know. So once you stop eating, you know, the red meat, the processed meats and all of those things, of course, the next thing is going to be things like chicken and then fish and then dairy and all of these things. So go at a pace that's comfortable to you. Don't call it a transition, because you might get stuck there. I know people that's been in transit for many years. So it's not about transitioning, because you can go from one place where you are today to the next place. You could be an omnivore, a meat eater, a pig eater, eating everything under the sun, and tomorrow you can stop eating all those foods and come all live, all plant foods. But you have to understand what the body's going to start going through. So if you're not ready for it psychologically, then you're going to have a big challenge. And sometimes for some of us, it's better to go on that route than to do the quick move, because when you clean the body out so well by going on a crash thing, you better not retox again, because the toxins are going to go at deeper levels. And then, you know, you hear individuals start coming up with excuses like, oh, my doctor said I should eat meat again, you know, because my iron count was low and these types of things. But it's just, you know, we just got caught in a weak spot and we didn't know how to extricate ourselves from it, you know. So go slow, take your time, go at a pace that works best for you. So fasting once a week is very crucial. You know, resting the digestive system for 36 hours once a week, you know, like what it is done traditionally, say in the Sabbath on certain religion. But those are religious spiritual fasts. We're talking more of a spiritual fast, because with the religious fast, generally it's like a 24-hour fast, you know, and they break the fast at the end of the day, and then you may tend to overeat. You know, that's not the time to eat big at the end of the day if you haven't opened the bag, you know, earlier in the day. You know, you need to break the fast at the break fast hour. So if you start your fast, say tonight, Sunday, after your last meal, you're going to break it Tuesday morning, not Monday night. So it's a 36-hour fast. So that's very crucial. And when I say that this type of 36-hour fast, basically it's just resting the digestive system. You want to consume fresh, filtered fruit and vegetable juices. When I said filtered, I mean there should be no fiber in it. There should be no pulp in it, because these things trigger digestion. And once digestion is triggered, elimination shuts down. You cannot digest and eliminate simultaneously. So you're shutting the digestive system down for 36 hours so that the body can focus on elimination once a week. So any backed up stuff in the channel, down in the pipes, you're going to start pushing it out. And for some of us, it's better to take that slow route than, I say, to try to do a major detox, 30 days or 21 day, clean me out forever now, you know, because you throw the system out of sync. And then
so you say to those people who are eating right now, they're eating red meat, or they're eating Beyond Burgers and textured vegetable protein, you would say cut back on the meat for a week, and then cut back on the dairy, and then cut back until they're basically on a plant-based diet, and then just eat fruit. And then once they're only eating fruit, then they go to the elimination water fast. And then after the water fast, eat fruit again, and then build back up to cooked foods. If they're going to eat cooked foods, they can't just have a heavy meal straight away after, right?
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing, is that once you decide where you want to be It's like, you know, you see the pinnacle. You know, the pinnacle is the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And you I decide, well, look, I'm just going to stay right here in Mount Meru, you know, in Arusha. I'm not going to get all the way to the top. So I'm going to still eat my potatoes and stuff. I'm still hang out with the Maasai and drink the cow's blood and those types of things. But when you get up to the top, it's about basically just eating all fruits. And once you up there, it's pretty much a one-way street, you know. Otherwise, you're going to fall, and the fall is going to be deep, you know. But you feel that you're not ready psychologically, spiritually for this ascension, then find your way somewhere along, you know, a ridge along this ascension level, and make that your comfort zone for a certain period of time, so you know, I got it. Now I'm gonna take the next leap, you know. But yes, the elimination process is very crucial, and to be able to do intermittent fasting. But doing the once a week fast, the body needs a rhythm. We have to, the body is an animal. It's a beast. You have to train it. You know, you have to train it. So it works better in rhythm. Everything in the universe, we are heavenly bodies out here in the universe, just like any other star out here. So we need to be trained. We need to be conditioned. We need to be programmed, but in a way where we're really working with the natural rhythms of the universe. So fasting once a week, you know, 36 hours, the same, we do it every day. We fast every night when we go to sleep for 8 hours. You know, that's a fast when you're sleeping. The classical definition of a fast is nothing gets past your lips. No water, no food, no solid, no juice, nothing of that nature. You know, so that's what we do once a day for 8 hours. So we're extending that, and we're going to do it once a week. But now today in modern times, the definition of a fast has become a little looser. You know, so drinking water, drinking juices, you're fasting today based on the fact that you're not activating the digestive system, which is more crucial than anything else. You know, so that's why you see in ancient times, you know, our ancient ones would say, you know, so-and-so fasted 40 days and 40 nights. Because we know we fast every night, but now we're adding the days to it as well. So that's what we're doing, but we're just shutting down the digestive system from processing food so the body can use that energy to do other things, especially the elimination process. And then gradually you want to increase on that. You want to build on that. You know, within 3 months, 6 months later, you might want to start adding to that fasting on the new moon and the full moon. So that's 2 more days for the month. You're already doing 4 days for the month, once a week, 52 weeks in the year. Now you're going to add 2 more days per month, 24 more days for the year. So you're fasting 76 days for the year with your weekly fast and your lunar fast. So this is where now we're looking to find our way back home. Especially as we grow and we mature, we need less food. The body machine can't process food the way my body did when it was 20, 30. I can't process food like that now at 72. So ultimately then you start incorporating, you know, and keep it in rhythm. Keep it in rhythm. You know, it's the same like how you breathe, in and out. So many seconds in, so many seconds out. This is what you want to do, not only with your breathing rhythm, your rhythmic rhythm like that, on a breathing level by so many seconds in and out, you know, consistently, and the fasting every night, 8 hours sleeping consistently, once a week, 36 hours, the lunar cycle, 2 days, you know, every month, the moon and the full moon. Now you want to do the seasonal fasting on the solstice and the equinox. These are times of the year when the body is more susceptible to releasing toxins that have been backed up. So we're talking the 21st of March, which just passed. You had your spring equinox. The spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. Equal daylight, equal nighttime. 12 hours during the day, 12 hours during the night. In the south is the fall equinox in the southern hemisphere of the planet. And And this can happen anywhere between really the 20th and 22nd of pivot points of the year: March, June, September, and December. December and June is the solstice, the longest and shortest days of the year. So during these times, the body is more susceptible to releasing backed up toxins. So you don't want to be eating and going against the grain. So we recommend the 3-day fasting. And if you observe carefully, these are the times of the year when the flu season peaks. Yeah, the flus, because we all under the command of the natural flow of the universe. We all heavenly bodies out here, and we all tend to detox naturally, release toxins naturally at these 4 pivot points of the year. So how heavy that flu hits you is based on how heavy the toxins are in your body. And if you observe, you know, the ones of us that are living in a female body, you see this with your menstrual flow as well. The more toxic you are, the more waste in your system. Every 28 days, you're gonna have a heavy elimination, you know, which they call menstruation. That release. Some is 3 days, some is 5, some is 7, some can even be longer, and some can be much more. It's based on the amount of toxins. It's the same thing with your seasonal cleansing. So as we mature, as we move in age, we want to gradually, systematically release all of this heavy consumption of food and stop processing as vigorously as we've been doing. So within the past 5 years, I've even instituted another level, another cycle of fasting, which is I call my life fast for the year. So every year I fast the number of days equivalent to the number of years that I complete as far as my solar rotation. So I completed a 73-day fast, January 15th, started back in around November 1st, because I'm going to be 73 this year. So I bridged the 2 years from 72 to 73 by fasting end of 2019 into 2020 for 73 days. So every year I add another day.
How do you feel when you do that?
I'm going to be eating less.
No, but I'm saying, how do you feel? So a lot of people were sitting here thinking fasting is hard, but once you get into regular fasting, how does that fast feel after the first 3-4 days, week, whatever? How does it, what do you feel like?
Well, the first 3 days are the roughest, because it's like going to the bottom of the pot and scraping up the bun-up rice. And you know, bun-up rice, boy, you eat a big chunk and then it's like, Lord, what would we just eat? Yeah. But it's crunchy, it's nice, it's tasty and all of this stuff. But you need to know how to manage it and mix it in with some of the rice that not bun up and things, so it's not, you know, so you don't get this massive rush of toxins coming out of the system just like that. But still, after that third day, it's a whole nother energy. So try to make it through. That's why doing the seasonal fast helps you, because you know you can master 3 days. You know, and when I talk fast, see, now I've actually even changed the definition or the word sound vibration. And I don't say that I do a fast anymore. I'm doing a juice feast. So it's a 73-day juice feast that I did. So for 73 days, I'm drinking a gallon of juice a day. I'm feasting on juice, but I'm not activating my digestive system. So technically, fasting, you know, but I'm feasting on juice. So there's really no lock-in, because I'm getting energy, or I'm able to generate more energy because I'm not expending energy processing food. So what I'm consuming is allowing me to generate more energy without me expending that energy to process more food to be able to generate more energy. So it's a very interesting science. So that's why I really go more these days by being, you know, I'm noted more as being a food scientist rather than a chef. Because you have to merge the science and the art. It's not just about preparing a nice, good-looking, tasty plate of food. You know, Because when you come off that table, you don't want to be farting and going through all kinds of stuff, gassed up, because the food wasn't fixed with a certain scientific consciousness of how the digestive system works. So all of this is very crucial. So, you know, the electromagnetic energies of the food are very crucial to know that. So when you're detoxing, when you're fasting, when you're cleansing, you're eliminating like this, you want to tend more towards the electrical food.
Okay.
And electrical foods are the foods that are highest in electrolytes. Coconut water, young coconut water, watermelon juice. They're foods that are highest in moisture. The more moisture in the food, the more electrolytic energy that it has, the more it's suitable for cleansing. The foods that are lower in moisture are magnetic. They're building the fats, the starches, the protein. So you don't want to consume those foods on a cleanse while you're detoxing. You know, these are foods. You're not looking to build, but ultimately you can actually build the body on juices once the system is clean. You know, I experienced a fast 3 years ago where, you know, within the first 30 days, I lost about 15 pounds. But at the end of my 71 days of fasting, at the end of that, I ended up having a net gain of 3 pounds.
Wow.
A net gain of 3 pounds. Because once the system is cleaned out, it begins to absorb. It's the same thing with being on a fruitarian diet. Initially, if you're eating a mixed diet and you start eating a lot of fruits, the first order of business of the fruits is to clean the dirty house. Fruits cannot build in a dirty house, on a dirty foundation. When you're going to remodel your building, you gut it out and you throw all that garbage out before you put the new walls up, the new plasters and all of these. So it's the same thing with the body. It needs to clear out all that old crud, and then fruits are going to start building you. It's the same way you build you when it clears out the house. So don't, you know, you need to know the science of how the body works and our relationship with food. This is what we're missing. What is our relationship with foods? And the first key is to understand that our relationship with food is through the plants. It's through the plants. So if you're not eating through plants, you're disconnected from the planet. So it's from plant to plant to planet. So a lot of us planning where we're going to go and what we're going to do by being on this planet, our link is the plants. But you cannot kill the plant and expect it to sustain your life. You cannot cook it and destroy it by boiling it, frying it, heating it, and doing all of these things, destroying the enzyme, the life force, the vital energy field in the plants, and expect it. So hence, this is why raw food. This is why sun-fired foods, living foods for living people.
Okay, so that brings me on to my next question. What do you think about the current state of Black people, African people, indigenous people who are living in cities right now and their relationship to sex and what recreational sex and over-sex does to the body, to the organs, etc.?
Well, I tell you, we're pretty much living under siege. You know, we're living in a way where we're actually destroying our lives. You know, and it's so interesting because, you know, one of our most recent, you know, radical, you know, major world change happened through the advent of the AIDS epidemic. So after the AIDS thing, did you notice they strapped up practically every man with condom? Yep. With the same-sex concept.
Yeah.
So can you imagine? I am going to ask my queen, you know, my beautiful Black woman, to put an animal skin on my penis, call a condom, and jerk me off and squeeze my life into there. And you know, in the back of the days, we used to call those condoms scumbag. Turn my life into scum, squeeze it in a rubber bag, and throw my life away, flush it down the toilet and call that safe sex. So it has really opened up a big wound in the community, and not just amongst us, but pretty much everyone globally. You know, the population control. Let you screw your brain out, throw your life away. Don't procreate. Don't reproduce, but use those organs as tools of recreation, not procreation.
So what are they trying to recreate?
Well, no, what they're trying to have recreation. They're not recreating nothing. They're having fun. They're having a good time, screwing their brains out. Because you get a brain drain when you sperm. You know, it's like coming out of the brain. It's not just down there in the testicles, you know, and you dump in your zinc and a lot of other vitamins. You dump in your life. So if you're not using it to produce another life, then you got to be careful how you're misusing it, you know, because then now, well, you see what's going on, you know, prostate cancer, enlargement of the prostate, and all kind of other issue for now misusing it. You know, I remember back in the days, back in the Vietnam War, when my buddies came back from the war and they talk about what they learned in basic camp. It was like, you know, this is my rifle. They hold up their thing, and then they grab their penis. This is my gun. This is for shooting. This is for fun. And that's where we've been stuck ever since then.
And what would you say for the queens who are listening in right now in terms of who they're letting into themselves, and also the makeup, the perfume, the bleach white ones, and all of those things, because they are under siege as well, no?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, I tell you, you know, we are counting on you. You know, we're counting on you. You are definitely the gatekeepers. You are the hands that rock the cradle. You know, so you are making the next generation. You are forming and shaping the next generation. So we need to move in harmony. We need to move in tandem, you know, and it's about really, you know, being as how it's been traditionally, you know, where really it's about the female energy more so than the masculine energy. We're coming to you. We're joining your family. It's not about you joining our family because, it's, you know, the next offspring is coming out of you, not out of us. We're catalysts, you know, but it all begins from right there, you know. So we need to be able to live together and encourage, you know, this whole concept of family growth together. And it begins from preconception. You know, we both have to be ready. You know, we both have to be ready. So, you know, the genes that come together today form that DNA of who we're going to be producing. You know, who we creating. You know, so we need to clean out. We need to detox. You know, because many of our brothers, they're really, you know, when they ejaculate in our women, you know, they're really squeezing pus in them and not sperm. You know, all that waste is being squeezed out. Yes, some life is in there as well. So then we end up with a lot of these sexually transmitted diseases and things of that nature. So we need to be very careful how we come together and be ready to create our offspring. You know, let's take a couple of years, you know, and clear out. Because it's about the baby. It's about our creation. It's not about us. So if we want to start them off on the right foot, we have to make sure that the genes that we're bringing together are worthy of a match to create this superhuman that we need to be creating now. You know, we cannot be half-stepping and half-breeding anymore. We got to come full force, you know, and know that there's superhumans that we need to bring forward now. So how we treat each other, how we value each other in our relationships, it's a partnership. You know, it's a complete partnership, you know, and we have to put you first, my queen. You're first. Before me, you're first. So we need to take good care of you. And if that's not happening, then help your brother, please. You know, help your brother, please.
So So basically, do you think that there's a correlation between miscarriages and birth defects to the diet that people are eating?
Oh yes. Oh, not just the diet, but even